Peace.
Peace.
This is Joshua Murdah, Mr. PhD. You're just now entering the cipher called Real to Real 360. KYs.
Peace, God.
Bring that beat in, kid.
Indeed.
Peace.
Yeah. What's going on, party people? Welcome to the Real 360 show. Let's get it in. We do the knowledge of wisdom so you can understand. Real 360 shows in full command. We changing the game for how it all was taught. From bondage to freedom to an independent thought. Yo, the show is here to bring about a change for real. To lighten everyone so we all know the deal. 360 degrees is a fact. We created the show to give our love back to our communities so we can know what's going on and give them the support from knowledge to born. So if you're ready to learn, then it's time to go. Sit back and relax and enjoy your show. Peace. Peace and blessings. What's good, people? What's going on? It's your man, DJ KYs, a.k.a. Kato, the Black Superhero. And welcome to another show, an episode of the Real 360. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on my brother in God, my co-host with the most, Joshua Murdah, a.k.a. Mr. PhD himself. Peace to Allah's 5% nation, to all the gods and earths, to all the human families on the planet Earth. Peace, God.
Peace, God. Peace, 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 peace. I want to say welcome, thank you to all our followers and listeners, those who have been subscribing and adding on with comments and giving us all types of positive energy. Also, too, be mindful that if you like what you've been seeing, you know what I'm saying, support. We have the Cash App and everything else up, you know what I'm saying, whereas you can support and keep everything going and keep us keeping the great shows going. But today we're going to be speaking about Afro Beats. And the brother that's coming on, RaSun, we've done a lot of business together in Norfolk, Virginia. We go back about 10, 15, 20, something like that. A while back. We've done a lot of hosting of parties together. And now he's invested in Afro Beats. So today we're going to get a great understanding of Afro Beats, and then also too we have one of his artists, which is Angel Murdah, which is Afro Beat artist, up and coming artist, and we're trying to make sure that we put them in a great light and make sure that we push them in the line where they can be successful. So at this moment in time, could you bring on RaSun and Angel Mudah?
Peace.
Peace. Peace. Peace. How y'all be?
Doing great. I'm doing great.
Well. Can't complain at all.
Welcome. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, just kick back and relax because y'all at home. It's all good. You know what I mean? ain't no stiff collars. This is all family. This is all love right here. So,
for sure.
You know, welcome, man. So what's going on with y'all?
Yeah.
Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here. Like Josh Mel said, we did a lot of business together, man. That's like my second older brother, man.
Yeah.
Oh, let me ask you this: did he bully you?
little bit.
Oh,
He got me in some trouble, but he also got me out of some trouble.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to know that. Glad to hear that.
Hey, I tell you what. One thing I will say is when it comes down to the grind, and I've never seen anybody who had that type of energy when it comes to the grind and networking and wanting to push and make things happen. Me and El used to be up till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning grinding, trying to make things happen. So I know that him putting this energy into Afro Beats and his artists, he's giving all he has. So at this moment in time, L, can you give us like a brief overview of what you're, starting to invest your time and energy into?
For sure, for sure. I mean, well, it really all started meeting this brother right here. We actually went to medical school together.
Yeah.
And I remember we were talking about something completely unrelated to music. He was doing his medical internship, so I was trying to help him find somewhere to do his internship. And he just kind of mentioned in an offhand comment, like, "Yeah, man, I got an album release party," and I'm saying to myself, "Wait, you got a what?" And he said, "Yeah, everybody in school know I make music except me, right?" So I ended up going to a party that he did for the release of one of his records, and man, it was like, in hip hop when we have this phrase called "restore the feeling," right?
Right.
I could truly say like that was the feeling of the night when I went to his party, man. It was just everybody was there to have a good time. Nobody standing against the wall like this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was there to dance. Everybody was there having a good time. People from all different walks of life, all different black backgrounds, different communities, different nationalities. And so I had such a good time that we ended up having a conversation after that. And he was just telling me, about the Afrobeat scene and, how it is being an artist, especially out here in LA. And so that kind of was the start of everything, was me just trying to help my friend, my classmate, push his music. But as time went on, I started to really see like, this is actually a very beautiful thing that's happening, but a lot of people here in the US don't really know about it yet.
Right.
As a music or as a movement. And he could talk more about that when he introduces himself. So I'll let him,
Yeah, peace. I go by the name Angel Mudah. Actually, like you said, I met him when we were in school, but I think we didn't really talk about music in school then, because it was mostly about acupuncture, oriental medicine and stuff until the internship and everything. So I was glad it came through for my EP release party. I think Afrobeat has been out for long, but hasn't got the recognition that it deserves. There's been like a lot of legend like Fela, and Fela is one of the people that started the Afrobeat movement. They used to call him Baba 70. And up till today, there are like big artists that have sampled his beats, sampled his sound on their beat. Like big artists, I'm talking about like Jay-Z, Kanye, J. Cole have all sampled him. And he also influenced other artists like Wizkid, Burna Boy. They sampled his beat too and used his style too. So it's not just about the music, it's about the spirituality in the music. And it speaks against the political stand that the music also hold. So it's not just, it's fun like partying, having people around and everything, but it also holds like a strong belief with the political culture back home too. So it speaks a lot against it. And I believe like once I was into it, I fall in love with everything that has to do with it, not just the the fun part of it, just singing, but the also what the roots of Afrobeat, what it holds, like it goes a long way. So I started doing it like a couple of years ago in the US before I even met Larry. But there wasn't like a real push to it, because the only time we have like people really into Afrobeat when we have like big artists like Burna Boy or Wizkid come to perform in the US. So aside from that, it's just few DJs playing the songs. So I believe the way I can like push it in my own best way is to have my own party. I have my own show and invite like upcoming artists to come perform for me before I did my own live show. And I make sure most of my show is like a live band performance. That way they can actually feel the music more than just going on the mic and just performing. And up to now, it's been good. So far, so good.
With Afro beats, is it like almost like the Caribbean music, like how the reggae, the soca and stuff like that, you can feel the energy in it, and it speaks of the struggle of the people.
Yes, similar to that.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, so kind of one thing I want to do is kind of get Angel to talk a little bit about the, because he's from Lagos, so he could give, a better history on the music. But just me briefly, he mentioned Fela. And Fela is a figure that is very important, not just to like Afrobeat, but to music, period, because he actually brought together a lot of different movements. A lot of people don't know he actually toured in the U.S. I believe it was in 1969, and so he pulled together a lot of different influences musically. Ornette Coleman, Miles Davis, and then two particular people. I believe is she was a backup singer for him, a woman named Sandra Isidore, and then Lester Brown, who's a big art. Lester Bowie, I'm sorry, who was a big artist here in the U.S. And so they kind of went around and met people. They pulled together a lot of influence from even from Malcolm X, the SNCC, the Black Panthers, and then as well as the music. Like I mentioned, Miles Davis, Ornette Coleman, Curtis Mayfield, as well as the soca, the reggae, the dance hall, all of those different things all were incorporated into the music from the beginning. And I feel like the fact that it brought together Nigerian music, politics, as well as Ghanaian music, high life music, and then, Black people here in America, the Black Power movement, Black arts movement, but then also the musical movements, it really kind of was like hip hop, in its own right, but in a different genre where you have this political, you have music, you have parties, you have, different segments of people that felt marginalized that all came to this music and this culture as a way to express themselves. And even today, with Afro beats, I feel like the importance of it is, like you said, bringing a message to people, but not just political messages, also like self-love, self-appreciation, coming together in peace and leaving in peace. A lot of that, I feel like, me previously, working mostly with hip hop artists, even being an artist myself at one point, that kind of left the hip hop scene. You know what I'm saying? Where you pulling up to a party or a club and it's like you and your guys is having certain conversations before you go in here. Like you checking where the exits are, you making sure security is on point. You know what I'm saying? You watching the crowd, so it almost became the opposite of what it was supposed to be, which was bringing us together, getting out of the violence and using music, dance, art to sort of create a different sort of lifestyle. But Afrobeats is that now. And, the last thing I'll say is the beauty of it is I see all different types of people from the whole diaspora coming together. When I was in undergrad at like ODU and just moving around Virginia, a lot of times, even like students from Africa that I would meet, they weren't necessarily like unified together. You know what I'm saying? They would say like, oh yeah, I'm from Africa, but I'm Ethiopian. I'm from Africa, but I'm from here. I'm from here. So everybody kind of stayed to themselves. But what I see with the movement now is you go to a party, it's people in there from Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Ethiopia, Eritrea, even places that have beef, like back home. The music brings them together and they're dancing to each other's sound, each other's music, each other's language. Even though you may not even necessarily know what the words mean, what I'm saying? And I remember he made a song and he was breaking down the lyrics to me. He was like, at this part right here, this is actually like some slang from Ghana that I put in there. And then I switch over to the Yoruba and it didn't really have that much significance to him. It was just kind of like, just writing us a record. But to me, to hear him say that was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then there's also the aspect of like reggaeton. There's a lot of Puerto Rican artists that are involved with Afrobeat. There's artists from actual Spain, Cuba, Brazil. So it's a global movement, that we're kind of behind on here in the US. Even the UK has its own genre, they call it Afro swing, I believe.
Swing, yeah.
So even the UK, which has a lot of Caribbean,
Gigs,
a lot of African
Gigs,
Skepta,
doing the Afro swing. So that rap is kind of like different.
Yeah, it's like rap, but it's also Afrobeat. It's also, some of their genres of music. Drake is another artist that has drawn heavily from Afrobeat. He's heavily influenced by, African and Caribbean culture, being from Toronto.
I think one of his biggest 8-2 One Dance was Wizkid was featured on it. And Come Closer is one of his biggest 8-2. Wizkid was, I think it was actually Wizkid's song, but he featured Drake on the song too. So that brought Afrobeat to light more in America than to when he did the song with Drake.
Yeah, as well as Burna Boy, he actually submitted, I believe it was 5 songs for Drake's More Life album. So the influence is already at the top of the game here in the US, but people just aren't 100% familiar with some of the names, some of the artists. But like you to get back to the question, that's one of the things I love about it is the mainstream artists. I'll use Burna Boy as an example. Like, he's an international star. I saw him at the Hollywood Bowl out here, which I believe that venue holds about 17,000 people. He didn't really have too many, he didn't have any big name opening acts, and the place was packed beyond capacity. And he's on stage. He's a either Live Nation or Rock Nation artist, and he's speaking political rhymes. You know what I'm saying? He had a video screen in the back. He was showing images of colonialism and, people in Nigeria fighting against Britain. And, he has a song where he actually talks about, different corporations that came into Nigeria and bought the land, and, telling them how they've been taught to believe certain things. So, that would be like the equivalent of like Drake or Jay-Z or somebody of that stature, or Kanye or 50 Cent getting on stage at Summer Jam and, dropping science on what, President Joe Biden is doing, you know what I'm saying? But like going into detail, you know what I'm saying? An American artist, other than maybe Lauryn Hill back in the day, like American artists wouldn't necessarily think of doing that, because they would think like, oh, it's going to slow my money up, or it's going to cost me, it's going to cost my career. But they still have that ability to do that, on the biggest platforms you can imagine. So that's another thing I love about it as well.
Also, so the roots of Afro beats come from the continent of Africa.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I mean, it was kind of a collaboration from the beginning. Like most people, I think would say Fela.
But it's like different countries. Like at least we have like 53 to 54 countries in Africa. All of them have like a different sound. Where the main sound started, it's all African, but the main sound, most of the sound are like Nigeria sound, South Africa, but they have like different names to it. So South African has their own genre similar to like Amapiano. The sound is kind of different. But the one that actually started the biggest movement was the one that started in Nigeria from Fela. But every single country has their own sound. But I think Fela started the big movement first before everyone started like moving.
And I think he actually came up with the name Afrobeat.
Afrobeat,
right?
Yes.
So he kind of created the term. You know what I'm saying? He had the biggest movement, and he had influence from, America, the Caribbean,
and even UK, because it's called in UK.
Even the UK. So it started off as like a diaspora sort of thing.
So
in the beginning.
This was during like the late or mid 60s when he started.
Yes,
late 60s for sure. Late 60s. I have some notes here. Yeah, so he was in London in the early 60s. Then he came to the U.S. in 1969, May 1969 to March 1970. But a lot of his major albums were recorded around like 1976, the ones that kind of like blew him up.
Right.
75, 76. And there were artists from the U.S. flying back and forth as well to Lagos. He would bring people to his compound because he actually kind of started his own country. Yeah. Like, he had like a compound, but like he called it kind of his own country. And another thing that was beautiful about it was the prominence of women in his movement as well. He mentioned they call him Baba 70. He had a band called the Nigeria 70. Then it was the Africa 70. They've also been, at other times been called the Egypt 80. So he had these huge bands, and a part of that movement, he would have a lot of women, with it as well. His mother was a prominent political figure in the political side of things, which still persists in the music today. That balance, like we mentioned, Burna Boy. Yeah. You go to a Burna Boy show, his mom is actually on stage helping to lead the band.
His mom is actually part of the backup dancer for Burna or for Fela also.
So there's a connection right there as well. So it's almost like a lineage that runs through the music from the 60s to still today. So yeah, definitely. That whole 60s movement is heavily influential in the music for sure.
And I believe why it gained more ground is that Nigeria gained independence in 1960. Fela's mom was one of the most powerful women in Nigeria then. In terms of not just influencing people, but she has money too. So she's heavily influenced. And Fela, I think one of his belief was that if I can change. If I can influence people's mind through my music, I think it can make Nigeria even more positive. Like we can change from this European mentality and be better within ourselves. That was why he had records like Animals, they wear agbada, and so we're just talking about the leaders that aren't doing well. They have the clothes, they have everything, but they're not doing well by their people. So as much as people try to be like, oh, he married like 20 wives, I was like 15, 20 wives. Doesn't matter. He said, no, it's not just about my own lifestyle. It's about the message I'm passing. So don't look the messenger. Look about the message is passing to you. So that's the big thing. And you can, to him, he believes it's African mentality. If you are able to and you can afford it and you can manage within your woman, why not marry 3-4 wives if you can? If you can't do it, then stick to one. But don't let this mentality of, oh, I have to be one man, one woman. Don't let it kill you. That's some European mentality. But don't even focus on my own lifestyle. Focus on the message I'm passing to you. So it goes more than just music and lifestyle.
Wow. Afro Beats speaks about relationships. Is pro polygamy? Is that what you were saying? Because I want to make sure I get it.
It's not like pro polygamy, but it's like you can live your life irrespective of what the society says. So people shouldn't focus on the fact that he is living a polygamous family. So it's okay if he lives it. If you can do it, yeah, it's okay. But it's not like saying that everyone should do the same thing as him.
Right. You're not bound by contractual measurements.
Yeah, definitely.
Basically, he was saying Europeans came over here, they dictated what's respectable. So I'm living my life based on my culture. You should do the same.
Exactly.
Whatever your culture is, like of your people, live that, and don't be embarrassed about it, or don't feel like you have to be persecuted by these standards that we didn't even create.
Exactly.
Which is a big thing that we went through here in America, with the Black and I'm Proud era. Like I remember talking to my mother, and just to tie it together, like it was a big deal for my mother to wear natural hair, and she didn't do it until the 2000s. And I remember having a conversation with her about it, and she was just saying like the reason why she never did it after all that time was she was afraid what people at her church would say. Which, you know, the thing in the Black church always was come as you are.
Right.
So I remember having this conversation with her, like, well, it's come as you are, Mom. Like, if you feel like you want to wear your natural hair, just do it. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that has something to say about it, that is a reflection on them. That has no reflection on you. You know, but she was worried about, you know, that community,
that image
that she lived in, and her
image.
image. So I think that that's really what that was. You know, he was trying to break that thing in his own way, in his own, you know, nation, the same way we were going through that here. So yeah, I think that there's a big parallel between the movements that we had over here. You know, whether it's Malcolm, you know, Elijah Muhammad, whether it's Drew Ali, whether it's the father, whether it's Marcus Garvey, who's from the Caribbean. You know, all of those movements that we had in the US was really talking about identity and culture and self-expression, community, self-love, self-appreciation, you know, building for yourself, you know, having, you know, God bless the child that has his own is what my grandparents used to say. You know, so that whole thing, Fela was doing the same thing in Nigeria, you know, for Africans. Like one of my favorite Fela songs is Gentleman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where he talks about, you know, they put on tie, they put on shirt, they put on singlet, you know what I'm saying? But my friends don't know. And then he's just, you know, basically breaking down like, bro, Africa's hot. Like, why are you wearing all of these clothes, bro? Like, it's like, you gotta put on a suit and it's like 100 and some degree. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he was making it a joke, but really saying like, it's a metaphor for sometimes we do, not that we're, because, you know, we like to get sharp, whatever. We like to wear suits, you know, whatever here, but, you know, there as well. But he was just making a joke, basically saying like, we do ridiculous things for approval from a system that was built for us not to be appreciated. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times the things that he did, he kind of did it on a bigger level just to kind of make a point of, you know, I'm representing my culture. Why don't you do the same? So, you know, and that really, I have notes here, you know, like that his influence went through the soul, you know, the soul movement, the jazz movement, the soca music, R&B, even in the US as well as the UK. And he go ahead.
Pardon me. I have a question. The artist that wrote, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, wrote to me. Wrote to me from Power. He played in Power.
He's Nigerian.
Who is Nigerian, and he's an Afrobeat artist.
No, I think he's actually an R&B or a soul artist. Yeah, but he does make Afrobeat records, of course.
Okay, because I noticed that we had spoke about there's a Afrobeat festival that's in Vegas coming up or whatever, and he's one of the headliners. He's one of the headliners. So I was trying to get individuals to see like to correlate like people that they see on TV and have music. These are some Afrobeat artists that they might can recognize, like you been saying, Burna Boy and Wiz, you know,
Wale, Davido, you know, especially for us, you know, being from VA, you know, the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, you know, Wale is probably the biggest example. And that whole DC, like DC go-go, like if you were to go to a go-go party or a go-go event and you were to go to an Afrobeat event, or you were to go to one of Angel's parties, like you wouldn't feel that different. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the rhythms would be different, but the feel, the vibe of the party wouldn't be that different. So, you know, we already have a lot of those things in us. And then, you know, probably one of the places that people most know Afrobeat from is like social media.
Right.
Afrobeat is completely taken over TikTok now.
Right.
But you see a parallel there as well, because just thinking of this as a marketer, right? There was a time in rap where every song had to have a dance. Now we kind of looked at it as kind of ridiculous, chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side, you know what I'm saying? Or, swag surfing, I swag, like all of those songs, or snap music, all of these different movements, crunk, all the Harlem Shake, like all of these different movements and songs that had dances with music.
Right.
We kind of looked at it as a negative thing because, we kind of looked at it as it hurt the lyricism of hip hop or rap. But for Afrobeat, it just complements it because dance is already such a powerful part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like Love One was the biggest song on TikTok, I think last year or something. Probably one of the biggest songs on TikTok.
Yeah. So there's an artist, CK. He has a song called Love One TT. It's actually the biggest Afrobeat record of all time in terms of numbers. And that was all because of TikTok. People doing TikTok challenges.
Yeah, listening to a lot of it, it brings back dance culture from way back, from what most people didn't understand. Like twerking is nothing new. That's just the name is just new, but the dance has been going on for centuries. You see what I'm saying? It goes back to the motherland with dance for cultural and spiritual and tribal dances that a lot of people didn't understand, So when I started seeing it and hearing it on TikTok, and then I was like, wow, and then me being a DJ, I would go from place to place, and I've started hearing other DJs playing Afro beats, and I was like, yo. At first, I'm like, is that reggae? New reggae? No, but I was like, yo, that it has a nice, you can tell it has its own distinctive style of music. So I was like, nah, that's not reggae, because grew up in New York. So, it's like, okay, that's definitely different, but it's hot. And it is definitely trending. To see it trend in this time and age where everybody's trapping out or whatever, to see this come along, it's a stronger movement, and I appreciate that. I really like that, because people, like I said, for them to do with the challenges, what they really not getting is there's a message in the challenges with the dances. And so when they really start to understand and they can trace that and get that knowledge of that root, then absolutely. you'll see a more definitive meaning, and even the clothing that people are wearing in some of these has taken it back. So again, there's messages within the music, within the language, within the culture. So, and that's
you see a lot of the parallels, like, this is kind of superficial, but I'm gonna just use it as an example. Like something that I thought about was, when I think of the most popular dance from the East Coast, I would say it's the Harlem Shake, right? When you think of California, the West, you think of more footwork, right? The walking, right? When you look at East Africa, Ethiopia, most of the dances is here. It's in the shoulders.
It's in the shoulders.
West Africa, we think about the lower half of the body, the waist, right? Not to say that each doesn't have upper body movement or footwork, but that parallel kind of holds true. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at Afro beats today, the modern version, a lot of those dances, you kind of see them coming back. But it's not that they're coming back; it's that they were always there.
Always there.
These. I'm probably going to butcher this name, which
Who is that?
I think it's called Esketa, but it's like the Ethiopian dance with the shoulders,
like this.
Yeah, like they do it with
the
shoulders. But when they really get into it, it looks like the Harlem Shake, like almost 100% the same. When you look at some of the footwork, right, it looks like the heel toe, which, being from Virginia, like if you was at a party and you couldn't heel toe, it was like, bro, stay out the middle of the floor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't on the side. Yeah, you got to be on the side, bro. You know what I'm saying? But when I think they call it the butterfly, where it's like one foot is doing the heel toe, the other foot is doing something else. Like those dances, were things that I feel like is almost like in our DNA. We didn't make it up. We just expressed it.
I seen Josh Jamel try to do that heel toe one day, and he turned it into the pretzel.
Yo,
he created the pretzel dance.
You got footage of that? I'll pay you to see that footage.
he'll pay you to see that because he ain't never seen me dance before. and we've been in the clubs. He ain't never seen me dance. So that's right there.
No, one thing I want you to talk about, Angel, is like because I want to get into his music as well. Because his music carries a lot of these messages in it. Mm-hmm. But specifically, one song that he talked about was
the Plenty Things.
Not Plenty Things. Plenty Things is my favorite. It's either Funk A Up or Jicho. But you were talking about how this concept of release. And in order to dance, in order to party, have a good time, it's about releasing everything that you're carrying. Mm-hmm. and letting the dance come through and the music and the feeling and the vibe and I see that when I go to an Afrobeat party, because it's not just enough to know the dance steps or to know the moves or whatever. Like everything counts, right? Even when you look at those challenges, everything counts. Like it's your facial expression, right? Like when and we do the same thing. When you listen to a record, there's a meme that goes around and it's well, there's two versions of it. One is Samuel L. Jackson and one is Bill Cosby, and they got this face like this, right? And it's like if the song don't make me do this, then I don't want to listen to it, right? It's like that fade. Like we used to call it the gas face, right? I know on the West Coast they call it the Thiz face, right? If the song don't make you do this, and be like, oh, he killed it, right? Mm-hmm. They do that when they dance. Right, it's the facial expression, the way the neck moves, the chest, it's your whole body gets into it. There's this release, and it feels so good to let everything that you're carrying on your shoulders. So Jicho, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Jicho is actually funny Jicho was the last song that I made on my African Violet EP, and it's actually the biggest song on my EP. So Jicho means dance, basically. So just express yourself. In Africa, I believe in Nigeria where I come from, sometimes if they have to like do some chants or anything, they dance to express themselves. So Jijo just mean like dance. In the lyrics I like mix it up with the different things like with girls and everything, but it just means dance. It's a way of expressing yourself, and also medically it relieves stress by you dancing. It relieves your stress. And in the lyrics, the funny thing is that the Jijo beat is from a different genres of Afro beats, which is Amapiano, which is South African beats. So it's not even a Nigerian beat; it's South African beat. But I can as well like do some Nigerian like style on it. At the same time, my Nigerian people can relate to it in terms of what I was saying on it, but the South African can relate to it in terms of the fact that the beats is from their own style of genres. So they can dance to it whichever way they want, because it's kind of like, oh, jumping, this is our beat. But what I'm saying is Nigeria like mixed with my my native language, which is Yoruba, and mixed with English. And some of the lyrics, playing that. Come, let's dance, something like that. Then the lyrics I talk about where I'm from too. I talk about having patience. I'm actually from a particular family. Then the first lyrics are about being patient, and my mom being patient in her own family, in our family, because she was the first wife, and we have like second wife and everything. And she was patient all through the way too. So in a polygamous family, my mom was like, "Come, we're still patient with everything that was going on." So they say love, no they see, but I'm choosing you. People just say, oh, you can't see love, but all day, every day, I'm going to choose you, because it's kind of like the message you passing. Even though I'm not the most patient person, but it's kind of like you passing me a message. Like if I can go through this, you can have patience and you can actually get to this stage. Then I can switch up the flow whichever I want, because it's a different beat from my own Afrobeat. At the same time, people can dance to it even without knowing what I'm doing. So I'm able to express myself well on the track, and I feel like to me the lyrics owe more to it than just dancing.
Angel, is that the song that's playing in the background that L is playing now? Oh, let that play. Let me let the audience hear some of the music.
That's not L. It's the God right here. Come on now.
Okay, that's DJ guys, aka Kato, Black Superhero.
Hey man, I should have known because I couldn't understand the words. Now play the song, man. What a bad talk.
Absolutely.
It's okay. When it go better, it's okay. It's okay. When it be it's okay. It's okay. I'm short, but me gas okay. It's okay. One penny, Oluwa bell okay. I take all like you for me, snake one like you be Elijah. The way she giving me free, it be like say she made do sa. I know she love me for real, but lucky what is the deal? The way she got me feeling, make me fly, they go Sri Lanka. Why check a chicho? Why check a poco? Baby, why you pull show? One more time, please second. Why check a chicho? Why check a poco? Baby, why you pull show? One more time, please second.
And you know, just to make it live on it.
Yes, sir.
If people haven't seen the video, right? Let me tell you this. If you haven't seen the video, it's like a difference of it's a foreign MC Hammer old school joint with lots of pumps and the bumps out there.
You come to the party and look,
Yeah.
you come to LA, you come to the party.
Yeah. Now,
it's not just a video.
Yeah, Angel, there's another side to you though. You got the song Vero.
Yeah.
And it's like your solo. Could you explain to me, because it's a different side? You're in the booth and it's like you're nothing else is around you but you, and it's like you can see the focus in you, and you can hear it in your music. So explain that one.
Very exactly. The only time I did something similar to that was Kiana, and Kiana still have some reggaeton tune to it. So the first time I heard the beat was last year when I had the first time I heard the beat. So I was in the studio with the producer. He's from Nigeria actually. Then he gave me the beat. So I was doing some rap thing and he was like, nah. This is a slow music, slow pace. I was like, yeah, but can do. He said, no, slow pace. Think about something. Think about something lovely. The name came out of nowhere actually. So that was how we wrote the song, and it even get better the first time I like wrote the song. Even get better. Like, okay, I think I can feel this more. I said to myself, if I can do something like really good on this song, the lyrics should be clean and everything. I'm definitely dropping this February or March of the following year, which is this year. So very means like expressing yourself no matter what, because in these days, this age and time, it's hard for men basically to like express themselves. You don't want to get too deep in it. You don't want to be like heartbroken. In Nigeria, we call it breakfast. You don't want to be served breakfast early. So because people laugh about it when a guy falls in love and you get heartbroken, they'll be like, hey, you get a breakfast early. So we don't want a situation like that. So we don't fully express ourselves. And we don't know that it's part of living. Like if this doesn't work, then you move to the next stage. So very just like expressing yourself the way you can to a woman. Girl, you're my everything. If it doesn't work out in the long run, then you create a new thing. That's why there's always a word. Everything, yeah, okay, no problem. There's a new thing after that. It's like revealing different side of love, basically.
Yeah, I like it.
My I know there's better. Oh yeah. My shady Coco. I know there's better.
That's it. We got the dark skin Caribbean, I'll be sure on the rise.
Yo.
Y'all, it's a beautiful song, though. You know, it's
Thank
a beautiful
you.
song.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, I go follow you. Girl, I go follow you. Be my Pharaoh, Veronica.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, I go follow you. Girl, I go follow you. Say you don't fancy the boy, you the flashy the boy, you the sapo the boy. Veronica, you be my Pharaoh, Veronica. I say I go follow you. Baby, I go follow you.
Listen to me.
Girl, you're my attention. Girl, you are
Listen to me.
I know good friend. I know good friend. My Vero, Veronica. Anywhere you go, I go follow you.
And see what's a beautiful thing, like I said, for people. Look, watch the video. You see him in his loving form. You know, he's really getting into his own, his lyrics, his music, and you can see the vibration and the love he has when he's singing. Angel, for yourself, how long have you been singing?
For probably like around 5 to 7 years now.
Okay.
The only time when I moved to California was when I get more serious about it. But when I was in Nigeria, I was only writing songs. I wasn't like singing in the booth or anything. But I've written songs for like a couple of people before.
How was it for you when you did your very first song, or better yet, like I always like that artist, when you first heard yourself on the radio? What was your reaction?
I feel proud of myself.
Yeah.
I also, in all honesty, I lost a part of me because the person that I was like in a relationship with before, my very first song was Omotunu, which I later changed to like Onepai. I wrote the song actually for her.
Okay.
But I mean, the way life has have it, she didn't like feel me being. She just want me to be a doctor. She didn't like feel me being an artist. She just write song for people. Don't go into it too much and everything. I mean, that break me a little bit. Like, oh, I did all this and this is what. I mean, it's just part of life. I still love and appreciate everything that we had back then. Doesn't mean I have any bad blood towards it, but it's just part of like life. You have to have challenges. The whole essence of living is for you to face different challenges, and the way you act towards that challenge makes you a better person. Then you
Right.
can move forward with your life. But if you get stuck in it, then the life just like eats you up. That's it, basically. So I've learned from that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that means we keep going, we keep working.
Andrew, now how do that, like your parties, they call, y'all do parties and not like shows, or just a
For
combination
me,
of?
I do shows. I don't do party. I've
Mhm.
opened for other artists like Tenny Makanaki. She's a very big artist back home in Nigeria too, internationally. Then Kiss Daniel, which is a very big artist too. But when I do my own show, it's not just like when I do my own party, it's not just a party. It's like a show because I tends to bring a live band to my show. That way they can feel the same energy, the same vibe as when I was in the studio. I think they can connect more to the beats too. So rather than me just like getting the DJ like play my song and just singing on it. So where I can incorporate the drums, the guitar and everything, they can feel the sound even without me saying anything yet.
Right.
So once I start like singing on it or rapping on it, they feel it better. Okay, this is how it feels.
The live
And sometimes
components.
I can let them like sing with me to bring the energy together, just like the hook. Sing with me with the hook. I think that was the one you came to the December party, the 20th year.
Yeah.
So
Hold on. He being humble right now, right? This man threw a party on Christmas Eve, right?
Mm-hmm.
He invited me, and in my head, I'm thinking like, all right, I'm gonna come through support my man, but I ain't really expecting that much, because it's Christmas Eve. I'm thinking like, people gonna be with their family, whatever. place was packed.
Wow.
It was live, and it's like, yeah, I call it a party. It's a show, but it's really all in one, bro. It's a show, it's a party, it's theater, all in one. You know what I'm saying? When you come to not just Afrobeat, because to be honest, I think the way that we're doing events now is actually a little bit unique.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's an experience more than anything else. Like, and I'm sure we'll get to my favorite song hopefully soon, which is Plenty Things. But, you know, the first time I saw him perform, you know, he had this segment where he does this song, Plenty Things. And that song, he did like a blessing for the crowd.
Uh-huh.
And was like actually going through pointing things out, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, like plenty of this for you, you know, plenty love for you, you know, plenty money for you, you know, plenty women for you, you know,
Right.
whatever, you know, whoever he saw in the crowd, you know, he made it personal. And then he had a segment where he went into, which he'll talk about, the talking drum, which to me is the most important part of it, right? Because one of the things that sort of unifies all of us across these cultures is the drum and the importance of the drum, you know. And we, you know, other people, they don't dance to the drum necessarily, but we, you know, we rock to the drum for sure. And so there's this particular Nigerian instrument called the talking drum. I mean, they have it in other cultures as well under a different name. But
yeah, we call it Ilugongon, but it's called
talking drum. And it's like back in the day, they used to use this drum to like communicate across long, right? And so we know cultures, armies did that, but he incorporates it into the show and does a whole segment where there's like a solo, there's a dance, there's a paying respect to his culture. So
Angel, could you speak to that drum, to the talking drum?
Yeah, talking drum. Actually, the first time I came about it, probably I was like around 6, 7. I was watching the movie because I was thinking it's just a movie. So the movie is called Shawere Day. So the way they used to relate a message before the invention of phone or anything was that they have like, they call it tribal mark. They have like a mark in their ear for like mostly the royals family sometimes too. So they have like a mark. So when they beat the drum, when they hit the drum, the person can because the person that has a mark in the ear can actually hear what the other person is saying in another village far from there. So they used to pass message. But in that particular movie, it was telling the other guy that, oh, there is a war that's about to happen. You need to come home. You need to come fight for your father and stuff like that. And I was like asking my parents, like, is this thing even real? Like someone can drum and you can relate the message as far as you are. You say, yeah, that's Ilugongon, the talking drum. So that's the whole idea of the name of the song. So it's beautiful. And I found it very funny that most of my own songs too, once I listen to the beat, I'm like, to me, I feel like I'm like a messenger between the drum and the people. I'm just like relating the message of what I'm hearing in that particular drum or in that particular beat to people. So once I listen to the beat, even if I don't write the whole song, I can actually come up with something like, okay, this is what this beat is saying. So Ilugongo has a defined meaning to me personally. So bringing it to my show and letting people listen to it without singing on it, it's kind of like a good an experience that we all connect in a spiritual way in different level. And basically, we blacks, we're more of a spiritual person than any other thing. We all spiritual inside our DNA. So that for my last show, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna like the crowd to just listen for a minute or two to this beautiful sound of a lugongon, which is the talking drum. So once they listen, then I can now sing on it. So that way they can get a feel of what the beat is like. Then I can do my own thing on it there.
It's a crazy thing to see because you actually see the crowd. They were responding to the drum, like they were, yelling things, chanting things, whatever, without him saying what to say. It wasn't a thing of like, yo, when they do this, you do this. When they do this, you say this. They just did it automatically. Right. So it's like
it's
very
like
powerful
person
thing.
doing it when he says, I can hear what he's saying without him saying anything. But without me telling them like they can relate to what I'm saying. They're like, okay, this is what the guy is drumming. Like this is the exact sound he's talking about. So I don't really like need to like rehearse or do anything with them. They can hear the sound without me even telling much to them. So yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, we're gonna definitely have to bring y'all back because our time is like, I didn't realize like that hour just about ran through, and
it's a big subject, bro.
Yeah, it's a major, big subject, and I'm glad that we got an opportunity to touch the crust of Afro beats because we really didn't get a chance to indulge and dive into Afro beats and a lot of Angel's music, which is like we said, it stems from him growing up in Nigeria. Just speaking to the talking drum alone is magnetic. Your music is beautiful. As Kay said, watching the videos, you get a chance, you get that old feel of what did you say, Kay? What was it?
Back to the roots, or if you want to look at the dark skin, I'll be sure, or that the MC Hammer, the Pumps and the Bump video, Caribbean. I saw.
Hey, the next video you get, what I'm saying, K Wise does video appearances, so what I'm saying, make sure that you put him in all Nigerian garb. And
we're gonna have him do his heel toe.
They can let him do his heel toe.
I get it. It won't turn into the pretzel dance.
But now, one thing before we close, I want to say, like, we want to take this to the world. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it is a big subject. Mm-hmm. And so some of the things that we're working on is not just the shows, the party. Of course, we're trying to do festivals and all that for the music, but also creating an educational platform. Talking about how the music and the movement behind it is creating these connections across cultures throughout the diaspora. And so, we're working on like some college classes, not lecture, that sounds boring, like workshops, interactive, where we can bring the talking drum, he can break it down. We can go over the sounds. He can talk about the different styles of Afro beat because it's like, even just Afro beats, when you say that, there's like 5 or 6 different styles or genres from different countries, the UK, Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana,
Ethiopia, they have their own thing too.
You know what I'm saying? So, if people are out there listening, if you're educators, it doesn't just have to be like a party promoter or someone throwing a show or a festival. We
also like too want to tell people, like, if they want to collab with Angel, how can they get in touch with y'all?
Email, Instagram.
Yeah, email on Instagram, hmtrecords@gmail.com is on my Instagram. So if they want to collab,
HMT, is it underscore records?
Yeah, HMT underscore records.
HMT underscore records. We actually just had a studio session on Tuesday from some guys hit him up on Instagram, pulled up, and it was like just a conversation, and just like that, they were recording a song, made the beat on the spot, wrote the lyrics on the spot, did the hook, just 5 or 6 people in the room together and just created magic just like that. So
well, like I said, we have to definitely bring you back, give you an opportunity to finish up, explain to the people about the Afro beats. To me, I'd like to thank y'all for coming on. El, you know what it is. You my bro. You know what I'm saying? From way back. We
just remember the time difference, bro.
Just remember the time difference. Yeah, definitely the time difference. Me and El, we went through the Raekwon situation together. The Wu-Tang situation together.
Situation that shall never be spoken again.
It shall never be spoken again. And a lot of
much love to those brothers, man.
Yeah. Whatever.
Another round table talk.
Hey, but okay, it's about that time, bro. Take us up out of here, man.
Angel and Ray, RaSun, please don't leave. Wait about a couple more minutes as we do the after party. We'll talk about some stuff. But to everyone that's been listening, and watching. We thank you for tuning in. Please, again, let's give a warm applause for our guests, Brother Angel Murdah and RaSun. We appreciate you. Appreciate you both. And listen, again, the arms are extended. You know, the olive branch is here. This is your home away from home. Whenever y'all have anything to discuss within about a community effort and a learning lesson that needs to be brought to light and shared across from one end of the globe to the other. You know what I mean? Please feel free to be like, yo, hit us up. We are here. We are your brothers. We family. That's the bottom line. We family. And that's the most important thing. So on that behalf, I'm about to clear the room for a minute and let our viewers know that we will be back. Thank you again. You have just seen another episode of the Real to Real 360. This is DJ KY's on behalf of my co-host, Josh Allah, aka Mr. PhD. We say peace, nation, and the 5%, and to all human families. One love.